Sometimes 7 years ago feels like more than 7 years ago.
Daniel Negreanu's my hero.
Daniel Negreanu made it to 5 final tables here at the World Series and earned 1 bracelet. For Daniel Negreanu, a frustrating 2011 World Series can turn magical with a deep run here at the main event.
I was very disappointed in my series this year. You're not going to have a great year every year, but I really was coming into the series focused and ready to go, and then somehow it just, the cards didn't cooperate.
Tonight, Negreanu tries to turn newfound momentum into a real shot at the bracelet.
I got you.
Finally, Kid Poker has an above-average stack. The question is, what will he do with it? Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Day 3 wraps tonight, and the Stars are trying to build momentum going into Day 4. Phil Hellmuth is making a charge.
Smile, poker brat. You're on the uptick.
Patrick Antonius is sliding.
If he slides too far, I will pick him up.
Ben Lamb stuck in reverse.
He started the day as rack of lamb. He may end it as mutton.
Daryl Jason's stack is almost tripled.
Think of how many chips he would have if he had shaved.
Patrick Poirier is the chip leader, close to $1 million.
Originally from Tupper Lake, New York. I don't even think there's a lake there, though, Lon.
Jace is right behind Poirier right now. The Frenchman with the pink hair, Guillaume Darcourt in third.
If a pink-haired man wins the main event, Lon, I will move to France and open a refrigerator magnet shop.
Sammy Caliparo, top gun at this feature table.
Oh, those forearms.
Also here, Daniel Negreanu finally with some chips that give him flexibility.
He's only made 1 very deep run in the main event ever. Could this be his year?
To Daniel's left, his friend, the talented Adam Junglin.
He's an instructor at Daniel's Poker VT training site.
And deep killer Max Heinzelman.
His game and his hair put me on tilt.
Fewer than 1,200 players remain from a starting field of 6,865, the 3rd largest ever main event in history.
It seems like almost everyone left is 25, 26 years old.
Except you and me. Heinzelman folds a 7 tray to Sammy Caliparo, the leader at this table with pocket 9s. He raises to 7,000. Zach Famey with ace-queen.
White t-shirt, no. Shades, no. Turned around baseball cap, no. The watch is okay.
Re-raise, yes, to 21,000. Tim Joseph with pocket 6s on the button, and he'll lay those down. Christy Gazes folds. Now Daniel Negreanu on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky whole cam pocket queens.
11th at the 01 main event, 229th in 06. And as we mentioned in the Open, a very disappointing 2011. He played in more than 30 events at this World Series before the main event with only 2 cashes. Here with pocket queens in the big blind, and the pot's already been 3-bet by Famey.
Daniel won a big pot here recently with a set of aces. And he has some more chips in hand. A re-raise to 35,000. Back to Caliparo and his 9s.
Caliparo, the original raiser, now has seen it 4-bet, so those pocket 9s might be losing some of their sex appeal.
He started his hand with over 450,000. He does lay down. Now Famey.
You see the chips behind. If Famey 5-bets it, he almost certainly would push the rest of his chips in here.
Famey gathers the chips, but then folds his hand, and Negreanu will take it.
Nice hand, Fish.
True. Thanks. Thank you, Adam.
As we near the conclusion of Day 3, there will be players looking to just make Day 4, and then there will be the players looking to make Day 4 with a big stack. Experienced pros Daniel Negreanu and Ben Lamb will no doubt keep the pressure on as the field shrinks to under 1,000 players. But what can we expect as the players make the push towards the money bubble?
As someone who rarely gets close to the bubble, Lon, I really can't speak from experience. The bubble might as well be my final table. But I do know what the top pros say. Never give up on a pot. Not getting cards can't be an excuse. The structure at the main event may encourage patience, but if you wait too long, the dream will pass you by.
Negreanu enjoying a little bit of a rush here at this featured table, pumping up his stack to almost 290,000. Our featured table chip count resembles an Olympic ice hockey podium. Finland, the U.S., and Canada on top. Negreanu's Day 3 comeback drawing a lot of attention around the Amazon room here. We'll keep it here at the featured table, folded to Daniel's friend and fellow online poker instructor, Adam Junglin. He makes a raise to 7,000 with ace-9 off. Pocket aces for Josh Kay, poker pro from Florida.
He was born in Texas, lived for a while in Michigan, and now resides in Boca Raton. He's 24. You're not supposed to move to Boca Raton until you're 64.
He went to school at Michigan State, hence the Pistons hat. He re-raises the 20,300.
Junglin lives in Stowe, Ohio. He's only 23, so he's at least a year away from a Boca Raton move.
With ace-9 off, Junglin not going anywhere. And a re-raise from Junglin to 48,000.
That is a 4-bet, and in this case, it is the bad timing wager of the week.
Kay moves all in with the aces.
Well, Junglin has Kay covered by only about 65,000 chips, and even if he had a much bigger stack, he doesn't really want to call with ace-9 off.
Adam finally relents, and Kay has those aces pay off, and he'll take that pot. Adam Junglin wondering if Josh was doing what he was trying to do, only better, or perhaps he really had the goods. About 140 tables still active here, almost 206 million chips in play. There's Kevin Saul, a poker pro from Las Vegas. Ace-5 off.
He was 308th at the 09 main event.
A raise to 6,900. Era Malikian with 9-8 of clubs will come along.
Malikian, the 28-year-old New York City pro.
Over to Amanda Musamechi with Queen-Jack of spades.
26 years old, mostly an online pro. I asked her where she's from, and she told me she's a nomad. She doesn't live anywhere. It's tough to ever get a birthday card that way.
She comes along from the big blind. 3 will see this flop. 9-7 king 2 spades. Musamechi favored with a straight flush draw. And she checks. Saul missed, but he'll bet. He loves to work his chips. 10,008.
Yeah, the 6% hand leads out. Saul will not wait for good cards. As they say, he came to play, not to stay.
Malikian made the call with his 9s. Amanda calls as well.
Well, if I'm Kevin Saul, I can't particularly like 2 callers at this point.
Turn card, a jack. Amanda's pair of jacks now gives her the big advantage. Also, she has those draws. She checks. Saul bets 36,900.
A very aggressive line from Saul, betting with absolutely nothing into a 3-way pot.
Malikian says it's too rich for my 9s. He folds. Amanda with the call.
She has the best hand. She has the best draw.
Heads up to the river now. It is a 10, and Amanda improves to a king-high straight. And she checks again.
And Saul can't stop now. It's contagious, like measles.
He keeps firing. 98,200.
I guess he's representing the queen. Of course, she has the queen for the king high straight. Only one hand would beat her, an ace queen.
Musamechi with the call.
Call. Well, I'm deciding whether or not to raise.
Oh, wow. You're not going.
Musamechi had the goods. She wins a big pot against a very strong player and vaults over the $500,000 chip mark here on day 3 of the main event. Welcome back to the Rio for the conclusion of day 3 of the main event. We check in right now on the secondary table where former chip leader Ben Lamb has seen his stack slowly erode over the day.
Lamb hasn't had much to play.
Lamb's nemesis at this table so far has been Alexander DeBoos.
German-born, now lives in Austria.
New at the table and now chip leader here is Tuan Vo.
He plays fast and furious.
Vo with 566,000. DeBoos right behind him. At one point, this was Ben Lamb's stomping ground, but times have changed recently.
Lamb sort of lost his mojo, and once you lose it, I lost my mojo in the summer of '89. It's hard to get back.
At this table, Marvin Peltola opened under the gun for a raise to 6,500 with ace-8 of hearts. Lamb made the call in the small blind with king, queen of clubs, as did Carlos Boyd in the big blind with queen of hearts, 6 of hearts. They see a flop of ace, 10, 9, 2 spades. Lamb with a gut shot Broadway draw checked. Boyd missed it, and he checks. Now Peltola with top pair and an 8 kicker.
Peltola, the 47-year-old contractor from Washington State.
He bets 8,000. Back to Lamb now. Lamb with his draw, and he makes a raise to 20,000.
Lamb trying to shake some chips out of the tree. Check raise semi-bluffs with a gut shot.
Boyd, an amateur from Panama, gives it up. So now back to Peltola. He leads with a pair of aces, and he makes the call. All right, heads up to the turn. 7 of spades. Ben Lamb gets no help. He doesn't need a lot of help to bet, does he?
Either Ben here thinks his clubs are spades, or he's pretending they're spades.
And he does lead out for 31,000.
Ben Lamb will represent the flush, I guess.
Peltola added a straight draw, and he calls.
The jack would be no good, though. Lamb would make a higher straight.
River card. It's a tray and another spade.
Lamb senses weakness, and he's going to bet with absolutely nothing.
He's putting Peltola all in, and Peltola lays it down.
Peltola did not want to play for all his chips there.
That one I want to see. You show me a spade?
I'll let you pick your card. See one card.
Doesn't matter. Pick one, Dieter.
Peltola turns over the king of clubs.
He's hoping the other card was the king of spades.
Lamb taking advantage of the 47-year-old Peltola. Not too surprising.
My ideal table is older people that don't play poker professionally and that are passive. You know, they don't bet unless they have it. They fold if they don't have anything. They never bluff. So you can, even if you have a big hand, you can still fold to their bet.
Lon, I'm tired of these younger players taking advantage of those of us who are older, more passive, and definitely stupider. Is that a word?
I'm not sure. I'll look it up. Do you have a dictionary? Tuan Vo with Queen 10 of spades. Under the gun, just raised to 6,500. Ben Lamb on the Jack Link Speed Jerky whole cam folds 8-6.
And it's not just a young man's game, it's a young pro's game. 55 bracelets this year in open events at the World Series. Only 7 true amateurs won.
DeBoos, nothing to play there. Fred Berger, one of the elder statesmen still in the tournament, folds. As does Ealer, giving up his small blind. Robert Peltecki in the big blind with pocket aces.
He's a 35-year-old Los Angeles jeweler, designs diamond jewelry for Hollywood celebrities. Now, he's got something hanging around his neck that I think is worth more than everything in my home.
He was born in Turkey. And let's see what he does with the aces here. He re-raises to 14,500. Now back to Vo, the original raiser.
Vo nicknamed Tornado because his chips move really fast.
And they had moved up recently. He makes the call for 8,000 more with his Queen 10 suited. Heads up. And there's ace 8-8. Peltecki flops a full boat. Vo's drawing dead.
Oh, wow.
All right, now Peltecki's done the easy part. Can he get chips off of Vo? He checks.
Peltecki lives near Hollywood, but that was a pretty bad acting job. Geez, I know Vo is aggressive, but I'm surprised he's going to wager here. It looked like the amateur wanted to bet.
And 18,000 chips from Vo. Music to Peltecki's ears.
I'm no Joe Navarro, but I think it's fairly obvious Peltecki is pretending like he's weak. Vo, though, is looking the wrong way.
Yeah, Peltecki has no audience right now.
Yeah, I call.
And says call for 18,000.
Look over there, Twan. It's show and tell.
Turn card now, 10 of diamonds. That hits Vo, unfortunately for him.
Now, if I were Vo, I might watch Peltecki.
He refuses. Peltecki puts out a tiny bet of 13,000.
Well, Peltecki checked the flop, so I thought he might check the turn and let Vo stab at it again.
You raise.
Vo announces raise.
You raise?
Yeah.
39,500 total.
Well, Adam Junglin can rest easy. We now have a new bad timing wager of the week.
How much more to call?
39,500 total. You got there.
Oh, Peltecki now getting undressed for this look.
Jeez, maybe he'll disrobe completely before he acts. And acts is the key word. This is like watching Pauly Shore do Shakespeare.
26,500.
But Vo's buying it so far.
Well, Bo's not even watching. I mean, he should look over there. It's dinner theater. It's dinner theater where your waiter plays the lead role in The King and I.
Peltecki calls for 26,500 more.
Oh, he's checking his cards again. He's all over the map.
The river card. Jack of diamonds.
Oh, the headphones are back on.
Peltecki. Act 4 here.
Oh, Vo shoots him a little Ushka look. What, you're going to bet?
All his small chips into the middle, total 24,500.
24,500 into a pot of 150,000. That bet stinks like 3-day old fish.
That might get Vo's attention.
Oh, look, now he's Phil Hellmuth. Who is this guy?
Bo lays it down. Peltecki shows his hand.
I've checked the river, huh?
What a flop.
I was totally doing it to check the river, but I figured he was going to push because I still have these. It looked like I was scared to put any money in the pot.
Yeah, Stu Unger would have played it the same way.
Not a bad flop. Welcome to the table, man.
Right? I was like, what the heck is going on?
Is Peltecki eligible for an Emmy now? All right, to hear what's going on in the outer tables, let's check in with Kara Scott.
Former World Series of Poker Europe main event champion Annette Oberstad will not be joining us on day 4. She hit the rail from the outer tables after losing a flip. Another player we're keeping our eye on is former champion Phil Hellmuth. He's had a roller coaster of a main event. He started with 64,000 in chips. At one point was below 10 big blinds, up again to 140,000. And I'm told at the moment he's sitting on about 70K. So he's definitely putting his chips to use. But the man with most of the chips and the first over the million chip mark is Patrick Barrère from the U.S.
Patrick's biggest cash ever in a live event for about 20,000, now leading the main event with over 1 million chips. Checking back in with the poker brat, Phil Hellmuth with ace-6, just saw his opponent move all in for 36,000. Brian Saltis holds ace-deuce.
It would be out of character for Phil Hellmuth to risk half his chips here with a weak ace.
Phil trying to figure out the minefield.
I'll be honest, I looked at one card. It was this one.
Folds.
Yeah, aces? That's usually what happens.
I almost called you because you're the one guy who's going to do some
I
crazy
got to move
stuff.
in with an ace in that spot.
You don't, but you think you do, and I know that. You're internet trained, so I know that.
I don't even know. I don't even know how to use a computer.
You think you have to do all this crazy stuff.
Day 3 going a little sour on Phil Hellmuth as he dances on the edge of desolation. Welcome back to the Rio.
All right. Now getting somewhere.
While we were away 2002, main event champ Robert Barconi doubled up with 9s full. He's up to almost 110,000 now. Back to our featured table here on day 3 of the 2011 main event. 1,142 players remain. Daniel Negreanu under the gun on the Jackling Beef Jerky hole cam, 5-4 of clubs.
Daniel won his first World Series bracelet in 1998 at age 23.
Hence, Kid Poker. 6,800. Raised to 6,800. Yes, sir. Pull it over to Adam Junglin with pocket 5s, and he makes the call. Heinzelman with pocket 7s.
Heinzelman just 21 years old, already with a couple of second-place finishes in EPT events.
And he calls for 6,800. Sammy Calipero with pocket 4s.
It's the anti-pinochle deck, Lon.
And he makes the call. Famey on the button gives it up.
Where are all the picture cards?
Joseph didn't have any. He folds. Gazes has a jack, but with a deuce and folds her big blind.
She should have gone all in with a jack.
4 players. Heinzelman ahead with pocket 7s.
Here come the pictures.
One picture, deuce, 4 king. Calipero's golden, flopping a set. Daniel got a piece of it and bets 18,700.
Negreanu likes it.
The 5s fold, the 7s fold.
Daniel gets 2 better hands than his to fold, but Calipero going nowhere. He really likes it.
Flopping a set of 4s. Daniel betting into him. And that's a raise to 51,500.
That's a pretty dry board. Daniel's wondering, what can he have? And remember, Daniel was the original pre-flop raiser under the gun. Calipero showing a lot of strength here.
Daniel retrieving his bet and makes the call for almost 33,000 more. 6 of clubs. Daniel picks up straight and flush draws and checks.
Calipero still firmly in control of this hand.
With a 3-1 advantage, the Finnish pro will try to get Daniel to pay him off. 78,000 is the bet.
Negreanu certainly getting the right implied odds here to call. If he hits either of his draws, he should be able to get Calipero to pay him off. He looks like Alfred E. Newman in Mad Magazine. What, me worry?
He should be worried. Daniel with 2 good draws that would beat the set makes the call.
Daniel's got about half the chips he started his hand with in the pot now.
Queen of spades misses Daniel, so Negreanu comes up empty and he checks.
That river card seals the deal for Sammy.
I'm all in.
I can't beat 3 deuces.
Or 3 fours.
So, can't beat trips.
Daniel knows what he has to do.
I guess you got 3 deuces. 3 deuces, 3 deuces, 3 deuces keep calling in my head. So I fold.
And he does indeed give it up. An expensive bit of speculating for Daniel, losing over 135,000 chips to the powerful Calipuro.
And this is the tale of 2 players headed in different directions. Daniel now down to 150,000. Calipuro up to 562,000 in chips. Daniel needs to go find Ben Lamb and ask him where he looked for his lost mojo.
Well, Daniel's draws failed to materialize on the river there. Calipuro really having a nice run so far here on day 3.
We're creeping towards the money. 1,100 players left. 693 will be paid.
Fold it over to Max Heinzelman. You know, Norman, I've said it before, but I can't get over how much he looks like Max Roffles from the Micros.
Yes, he does.
The Micros is an internet animated series about poker life at the lower limits. Heinzelman with the king-queen suited raised to 6,500. Over to Tim Joseph on the button. 10-5 of diamonds. And they go into the muck.
Christy Gaze is cashed in the main event in 09.
Folds her small blind. Daniel in the big blind. Queen tray of spades.
The lure of the suited queen tray in the big blind. Heads up.
Yeah, for 3,500 more, Daniel elects to play against Heinzelman.
I don't know about that.
So Negreanu and Heinzelman to the flop. 4-7-6, 1 spade, 1 club. Negreanu with a gut shot. Both players check. Turn card another 7. Daniel now with a flush draw as well. He's thinking about it.
It looks like the queen tray might work. Negreanu just on a draw, but Heinzelman has no pair and no draw.
Daniel bets 9,200. Will that be enough to take it down?
Well, you know, Lon, I forgot it's Max Heinzelman. He plays a different game than the rest of us, and at the end of most days, he is boom or bust.
9,200. The call from Heinzelman. River card, 7 of hearts, another 7 out there.
Actually, if Heinzelman was sticking around, I'm surprised he didn't raise the turn.
Daniel checks, Heinzelman checks. Daniel shows his queen tray. Heinzelman best with the king-queen.
Yep. I'm glad Phil Hellmuth's not here.
Had a few outs.
Daniel did look like he was on a short fuse there, didn't he? So after an early bloom, Negreanu's chip stack has wilted of late. He keeps putting irons in the fire, but he is often the one getting burned.
If he wasn't such a lookbox, then you'd think it was me up there.
I told you that Max looked like Max, Norman. Well, our thanks to Max Roffles and Chase Berger for verifying our speculation. All right, here at the featured table at the 2011 World Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Tim Joseph with 9-7 off gives it up. Fold it over to Daniel Negreanu, down to about 132,000 chips now. 6-4 of spades.
You know, it just struck me, if they used a pinochle deck in poker, Daniel couldn't play.
That's right. No low cards.
Nothing.
6,800 is the raise from Daniel. Junglin gives it up to Max Roffles. Heinzelman with ace-jack off.
You know, if I dyed my hair like that at his age, Lon, my father would have shaved my head with a lawnmower.
He makes the call. Calipuro gives it up. K folds, so heads up. Heinzelman and Negreanu again.
They meet again in the center of the ring. Kid Poker and the Stuttgart Slugger.
The flop is King 10 Queen. Bingo for Max. That is Broadway. Talk about a luck boxing. Negreanu with a 4% hand now. But he's going to bet it. 9,200.
Now Daniel Negreanu throws his hat in the ring for the bad timing wager of the week.
Heinzelman, who flopped Broadway, just makes the call.
See how his right hand holds onto his left shoulder to prevent him from betting too much.
Good point. Jack of spades puts 4 to a straight on the board. Daniel with a flush draw. And he checks it.
Remember, Heinzelman just smooth called the nut straight on the flop.
not going to give Daniel a free card here. Bets 12,700.
And like the previous hand against Calipuro, this turn card might make Negreanu stick around. He's getting pretty much the right price to call.
Well, the turn cards have been expensive for Daniel tonight. And he does make that call. Heinzelman, the huge advantage. River card 9 of clubs, now a king high straight on the board, but Max holds the ace.
Well, it has turned ugly for Daniel Negreanu now. Heinzelman obviously will bet. And Negreanu even might call here, playing the board to try to get half the pot.
We saw Daniel check again, and now Heinzelman putting together yellow and orange chips worth 55,000.
Missing lots of flush draws. That's not fun. I don't want to pay for half.
Yeah, that would be for about half of Daniel's stack, and he folds.
Max Heinzelman chips up a bit more. And Daniel Negreanu continues his downward spiral.
Yeah, Daniel in the red for day 3 now with that loss.
He's got about half the average stack.
Max now second only to Calipuro at this featured table. Now back to the drama that is the 1989 world champ. Phil Hellmuth with pocket eights raised it to 7,400. He's just been called by Chi Kian Chan from the big blind holding ace-4 off.
Phil Hellmuth against the world continues. This episode, Chi Kian Chan.
Top pair for Chan. Pocket eights in deep trouble for Phil. They both check. Turn card, another 10. Ace is up for Chan, and he checks again. And right now, Phil chips in hand, 4,800.
Only Phil Hellmuth bets 4,800 into a pot of 20,000 on the turn. He's acting as if he's begging the 33-year-old Canadian to come along.
Milkman, they call me.
If he's the milkman, I guess it's 5% milk.
And a call from Chan with the best hand.
Chan comes along, and Phil is left with his thoughts. That's dangerous.
River card now. 6 of hearts, that misses Hellmuth. Check, check again.
Check.
Chan shows the ace.
Ace-4, yeah, of course. 7,000 from an under the gun race with ace-4 offs.
The Phil Hellmuth Tilt app coming soon to an iPad near you.
Under the gun race. Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. You get a lot of excuses for your bad play. I understand.
For Phil, this is medium upset.
We'll check back in with Phil, and he's well done upset, I guess. All right, back to our featured table. Jim Postiglione, 7-6 into the muck. Folded over to Max Heinzelman. Oh, get your dartboard out, Norman. Jack Link's beef jerky wild card hand in Max's hands.
I've got to figure out what Max Heinzelman has. It would be easier to solve a Rubik's Cube in a straitjacket.
Max raised it to 6,500.
A min raise plus change from under the gun plus 2. Heinzelman must have 9-7 suited.
9-7 suited. I'm going to write that one down. You're on a bad streak lately.
Thanks for keeping score.
Folded to Daniel Negreanu. The big blind ace-deuce, and he comes along.
These two again?
Really?
Why don't they just hire their own dealer and play heads up in their own private cabana poolside?
Ace, queen, 10. Daniel flops a pair of aces and checks it.
Well, if Heinzelman's got B, C, or D, he's got a legit hand. Heinzelman says, hooey to legit hands, Lon. He's got squadouche and will float in space here with 9 high.
7,600 is the bet from Heinzelman.
I believe Daniel this time has got his number.
Daniel just makes the call.
We got him, Lon.
Float on, he says. Turn card, 8 of spades. Daniel still with top pair, but no kicker, and he checks again.
This Heinzelman is posturing, Lon. His very posture looks like he's posturing.
A bet of 14,500. You're very confident in your call here today. Daniel calls.
Wow, see that glance? It's whoops, he called me? That's not good.
River card, 4 of spades. Negreanu has gone check, check, and now check again.
Oh, this guy can't win a showdown because he has 9 high. He's got to bet again. 9 high, Lon. I would stake your reputation on it.
That's not very much. Heinzelman does look like he's going to bet and puts out 33,700.
He's got 9 high scribbled across his forehead, Daniel. Now, if he is bluffing, I don't know if Daniel can call him. Daniel's left with top pair, no kicker, and 1,000 doubts about his hand and, frankly, his life.
Daniel is squirming.
Call him, buddy. He's trying to scallywag you.
Granu getting short on chips does make the call. Heinzelman with 9 high. You were right.
I don't need Joe Navarro. I'm Norman Chad, partner.
Heinzelman perhaps not so much of a luck box and loses the Jack Link's beef jerky wild card hand. Negrano sniffed that one out. He will take any win he can get at this stage of the game. Welcome back to Las Vegas in the 2011 World Series of Poker. For some of the game stars, Day 3 was not particularly friendly. Against all odds, Jason Mercier will not win the main event. Joe Cata won't win it again. John Reisner can't finish second again. Jennifer Hartman could not shake her main event demons. And Sean Deeb ran into the ace-6 of Max Heinzelman and was eliminated a short time later.
I assume Sean Deeb sits in a spa somewhere convalescing. Meanwhile, I still get a chill down my spine thinking about that hand.
That graphic illustrates the effect of just treading water here. Twanville at the start of Day 3 had over 400,000. That was strong. Now with the leader cracking $1 million, 400,000 shrinks a bit. He lays it down to Ben Lamb, 8-5 suited, a raise to 6,500.
See, Ben Lamb is still playing the old run-and-shoot offense. He'll attack from any part of the field.
Alexander DeBoos folds his King Trey suited to Fred Berger, ace of diamonds, jack of clubs.
I'm glad Fred Berger's here. Old-fashioned, old school, and older than us, Lon. 62, and he's got a bracelet.
He won that in 2002, and he calls from the button. Ealer in the small blind, king, queen.
Lon, if poker is to take the next big step, I really think we've got to start dressing better at the table.
Well said.
Can you imagine Bobby Fischer, Boris Spassky chess match if one of them was wearing a hoodie and the other was all tatted up?
All right, heads up Berger and Lamb. Flop is 7-6 ace. Up and down straight draw for Ben Lamb. Berger flop top pair.
Ben will not slow down. It's run and shoot on every down.
8,500. Now to Berger. Berger with a raise to 21,000.
Yeah, he says, not so fast, Sonny. I've got a hand.
So Ben Lamb wants to play against the older guys, huh? Oh, here Lamb re-raises. Berger all in.
See, the old man seemingly does the right thing, and the young gun blasts a re-raise right back at him for all his chips. Who can take all that pressure?
Berger lays it down to the heat brought on by Ben Lamb. So a good result for the 26-year-old. Let's hear what Andy Block thought of that play.
In this hand, we see a flop made for action. Ben Lamb flopped an open-ended straight draw. Berger flopped top pair, medium kicker. Lamb made a continuation bet, but then Berger made a mistake here. He raised. He should have just called with his medium kicker and just called the turn and probably just called the river. Instead, he got himself into trouble by opening himself up to the possibility of a semi-bluff all-in, which he couldn't call. The lesson here is, don't raise if you can't call the semi-bluff.
Needless to say, Andy Block's smarter than me. I stand corrected. Fred Berger's raise was a mistake.
Fewer than 1,000 players left in the main event. The average stack right now just over 211,000. At an outer table, Patrick Antonius just moved all in for 48,000 with ace-9 of spades. On the left in the glasses, Kristen Cudmore with pocket sixes calls to put Patrick on the chopping block.
And Cudmore looks like, hey, I just might bust the pretty boy superstar out of the main event.
There's the flop. No ace, no 9 for Patrick.
Cudmore closing in on landing the whale.
Turn card 7 of diamonds. The pocket 6 is still good for the Englishman.
Antonius has to have an ace or a 9.
River card's another 7, and that will do it. Patrick Antonius knocked out by Cudmore. And the main event just got a bit safer for all the remaining players. One of the bracelet events this year was just short of groundbreaking. Another was record-shattering. In the $2,500 six-handed limit hold'em tournament, Southern Cal pro Kim Nguyen tried to become the first female to win an open event in 3 years, but Britt Darren Woods foiled her plan.
Wow, it feels absolutely amazing.
In the $1,000 no-limit hold'em tournament, a record field of over 3,000 starters was reduced to 1, Jason Somerville.
It feels great. I'm really close before. I have a second, third, fourth, and fifth to actually win. It's amazing.
All right, let's go down to Kara Scott once again for an update on what's transpiring on the outer tables.
Day 3 is coming to a close, and we finally dropped below the 1,000-player mark into triple digits, and they're all here in the main Amazon room. Patrick Poirier was the first to cross the million-chip mark, and he sits atop our leaderboard. Patrick Antonius is out, but some big names still left in. Phil Hellmuth, Freddie Deeb, and Elia Lesra. Sam Simon, the creator of The Simpsons, is still in, and he's sitting on about 500,000 chips.
And there is Sam Simon, pretty darn good poker player, rescue dog icon, and maybe the funniest man I've ever met who hardly ever says a word.
Back over to Phil Hellmuth with King Jack and a shorter stack. He makes a raise to 6,000.
Hellmuth is sort of the anti-Sam Simon. He talks a lot. I guess he's funny in a different type of way.
Over to Graham Ladd now, 10-8 offsuit.
I feel like getting doubled up the same. You don't mind, no? No, it's okay. All right.
Ladd, the man to double up Phil, maybe? 10, Queen, 8. Ladd flops 2 pair. Phil is open-ended.
That's an action flop, Lon.
But no action.
Did I say action flop?
Turn card 9 of hearts. Phil Hellmuth hits his king high straight. Ladd bets 10,000.
Ladd likes his hand at the wrong time. Yes, Phil, you have the nuts.
Now what? Phil started the hand with almost 70,000, raises to 25,000.
Ladd now has to wonder, does Hellmuth have a jack in his hand?
Calling chips into the pot. Ladd drawing very thin. River card. Another 9. Hellmuth straight is best. Ladd left with just 10s and 9s now. Ladd checks. Phil moves all in.
You got lucky, Phil.
Ladd folds.
I got lucky. You had a jack? No. I got lucky. I had the freaking nuts, man. How did I get lucky? I got unlucky you didn't call.
You got unlucky, Phil.
How did I get lucky?
No, I'm saying you got lucky. You didn't have the luck. You didn't have the best hand on the flop.
I never put a nickel in. I had an open ender. It looked like you had a hand.
Yeah, I had a hand.
I hated the nine. It's horrible for me, man. I figured you might be drawn dead to the board pair. Well, I got some of it back. I lost it.
This is where Phil and I part ways. Just take the chips and smile, or don't smile, but don't jabber away like it's your first time in town.
From the 89 champ to the 2002 winner Robert Varconi, who raised with pocket jacks to 39,000, only to be re-raised all in by Marvin Rettenmeyer with ace-king.
Varconi has called the clock on himself. There's the timer in front of him.
And the timer goes off.
Turkey's ready.
Robert's hand is dead. He folds the jacks.
Tough decision there with pocket jacks. Varconi knew if he folded, he still's got more than 40 big blinds left. Plenty of chips.
Rettenmeyer shows his ace-king.
You didn't want to see you flop with me?
I'm rooting for Robert Varconi to become the next 2-time main event champ. Find me a nicer guy than Robert.
Yeah, you are right about that, Norman. Let's get back to our featured table where Sammy Calapuro has been holding court all evening long. Action here has been folded around to Jim Postiglione on the Jack Link Speed Jerky hole cam. King, queen off.
51 years old. Owns a construction business in Bayshore, New York.
75. Raise 75.
A raise to 7,500 from the amateur.
His first main event.
Jungland and Heinzelman folds. Over to Calapuro. Queen Jack of spades on the button. And he makes the call. Small blind folds. Famey in the big. Lays down.
You have aces again? You have ace jack again?
There's the flop. Trade King 10. Calapuro is favored with flush and straight draws. Postiglione has a pair of kings.
Another action flop. I demand action this time.
You're going to get it. 16,500 from the amateur.
Now Calapuro with a huge draw.
And a raise from the pro to 44,000.
44,000.
All in from Postiglione and a quick call from Sammy.
Good draw. Wow.
Postiglione sees the situation.
Good luck, sir.
And there you see Calapuro with 15 outs twice. A lot of trouble for Jim Postiglione to dodge.
The amateur looking to double up. Turn card, 4 of clubs. Postiglione still ahead, but sweating.
He's sweating, but it is good news for him. He's now a 2-1 favorite to survive.
The river card, 8 of spades, and Sammy wins it.
Tough luck.
Postiglione knocked out by Calapiro's queen high flush.
Well, on with Patrick Antonius gone, I don't mind seeing Calapiro's finely honed forearms dragging in another pot.
What a dominating day 3 it's been for Sammy. He has owned this featured table, giving an already confident player even more tenacity.
You have aces again? I call.
Tough luck.
Back inside the Amazon room at the secondary table, Alexander DeBoost with King Jack raised to 6,500. Action on Marvin Peltola with pocket 8s.
As the day winds down, stacks get shorter, eliminations come much quicker.
Yeah, the short stacks have to decide to make their stand now or hang on with crumbs on day 4. Peltola calls.
It'll suck if I get busted right before I go home, you know? Be nice to me, okay? I'll try.
There's the flop, ace, jack, ace. Aces and jacks for DeBoost.
DeBoost outflops Peltola.
Check from Peltola. DeBoost checks behind. Turn card, and 8 of clubs changes everything. Peltola fills up, and he checks.
Peltola checked the flop and the turn, so DeBoost might feel rather safe with his jacks.
DeBoost is going to bet it. 8,000.
I'm all in.
And an all-in from Peltola with the boat.
Boy, Peltola moved all in so quickly. If I'm DeBoost, I can't imagine he's bluffing here.
DeBoost, the big stack at this table. Peltola, the short stack.
You could just fold. You bust me, my wife's got to go home. Sure hope you don't have pocket aces. That'd suck.
And Peltola sounds real comfortable.
If I go to the bathroom, and is my hand dead?
You have to stay.
If he goes to the bathroom, is his hand dead?
I think he's bluffing about wanting to go to the bathroom.
Can I have a catheter?
That's all he's bluffing about. DeBoost calls.
Wow.
And he'll hate to see what Peltola turns over.
Wow. What a move. What a terrible play. He got
Terrible play by me.
Yeah, man.
Why?
He's shoving all in.
Let's put all those chips in here. Alex is showing us a king.
Play seems to have worked. Play seems to have worked.
Only an ace or a jack sends Peltola home.
The 4 on the river will double up Marvin Peltola.
Doubles up to more than 200,000 chips.
You said to him, why don't we play nice, and you doubled up on him? Man, that's
I
not
wanted
nice.
to fold, man.
You wanted to fold?
Hell yes. I got to go to the bathroom.
Come on. I think you should just leave and go to the bathroom.
You probably should. That was pretty lucky
Before you
there.
do something else sick like that.
You know, ignorance is bliss, and I'm very happy.
That was a good job.
To an outer table on the left, Daryl Jace with the second biggest chip stack in the room just flopped Broadway, and he checked to Daniel DiPasquale, who flopped a Broadway draw, and he checked. The tray of hearts gives Jace a flush draw. DiPasquale at best can chop the pot now.
Jace sitting as pretty as can be. The nut straight with a redraw to the nut flush.
A bet of 28,000.
The 24-year-old from Derry, New Hampshire, sitting with next to nothing, ace high. The 10 would give him Broadway. I don't know what he's thinking about right now. Maybe a lost love or a noise in his car engine he heard this morning.
But he's up against one of the big stacks in the room. He needs 28,000 to call. He started the hand with just about 200,000, and he does make the call.
Maybe DiPasquale looking to bluff at it on the river.
The river card is another tray. Jace has the best of it.
Well, the board does pair. And the diamond might slow Jace down.
Well, little has slowed Jace down on this day 3, and now he does bet 80,000.
DiPasquale, again, thinking about something. But if I were him, I would just fold and take your car to a dependable mechanic.
And that's what he does. And Jace with a little icing on his day 3 cake to close out the action.
Boy, Daryl Jace has a lot of chips.
You are right. Over $1.2 million for the 23-year-old. So day 3 is in the books at the Rio. Ben Lamb started as the chip leader, but he has fallen to the middle of the pack. Daryl Jace in second place as one of our 2 main event millionaires, mostly Americans in the top 10, but the Canadian Barter, the German Rutenberg, and Mozhnikov, the Russian, in 10th place. American Patrick Poirier, the leader, stacked at over $1.3 million. His bag will be full of chips as he moves into day 4 with 851 others. It was an eventful day 3. Patrick Poirier surged to the top spot.
We started the day with 254,000. Right now I have 1.3 million.
But he's got company. Half of Ben Lamb's stack has gone missing, while Helmuth and Negreanu managed to hang on.
How did I get lucky? I got unlucky he didn't call.
I was able to climb back because I was down to 125. So to finish on a higher note, overall, plenty of chips for tomorrow.
For Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. On to day 4.